Hi there, this is Talon again on TAC-P. Having some trouble sleeping. Figured I'd hop on and make another quick video. I think this is going to be the first one in a little series of videos explaining how to get your Vexthal key. And to start off with, I'll start running through how to get your shards. I'm not actually working on anybody's shards right now or their Vexthal key right now, but I can still run over to the camps and show you exactly what it takes to get them. I'm not sure how many I'll do in this video, but I'll do some. So I guess I'll start off with the easiest, which is Dawnshroud Peaks. There's 10 shards, I think, off the top of my head, and this one's got the lowest level mobs that you need to kill to get the shard. Alright, so we are in Dawnshroud Peaks. There's these wolves at the port in that usually attack people. My guys are beast swords and druids, so I don't really need to worry about that. So when you port in, all you want to do, or if you're running, go find your entrance. I use a druid, so I don't actually run anywhere if I can help it. Basically, you'll head over to these rock hopper caves, and it looks like there's people hunting in there, but I don't honestly need to hunt in there. I'll just go peek on them doing their shards or farming rock hopper pelts. I'll just invis my druid and take a peek inside. Maybe nobody is hunting rock hoppers. There's a pet over there. That's why it's so small. Somebody shrunk it. Oh, yeah. Rock hopper caves are open. So essentially, for this first one, you can see these guys are all light blue. What you can do is, take your characters and start working your way through here. These mobs are all pretty easy. They can stack up on you pretty quick, but there's not a lot of wanderers. And the cave's not very big. I think I'm almost to the back of it already, just invising through here. So I guess the only real thing to know about this is about the age-old rock hopper. So in this last room, there's a room back here too, but in this room right here, you've got this mob called the age-old rock hopper, and the age-old rock hopper switches all of these mobs into, I think, Gantrus or Mokhtors, or whatever you call them, the troglodytes, the red ones. So what you can essentially do to clear this place out is, what I do is I start clearing from the outside, and I work my way all the way through, clear into this room. I think there's one hiding behind this rock too. Yep. So a couple of these are quote-unquote named, but none of them are really too hard. Yeah, there's one Ravager. They're all pretty simple. After you clear all these, I'm not sure if you can pacify the age-old rock hopper. I think you can, but don't quote me on it. What you want to do is kill all of these rock hoppers except for the age-old, and then run your butt back to the beginning of the cave. So I am not positive the respawn timer on these things, but it's probably about 15 minutes or so. I know with a trio, even under level 60, you can clear this cave out and get back by the time they're respawning. And if you're a little late, it's fine. You just get back to the beginning, start killing again. A lot of people will park out here, and they'll just sit where it's safe and have one person pulling large groups of rock hoppers out. So if you prefer to do that, you can. off these guys, but they're too low level. Probably gotta leave my group to get invited. Pick these guys up real quick. Alright, so Dawnshroud Peaks, easiest shard. Those guys are doing it right now. I think they're in their 40s. Guess I can run over there and give him a haste too. So, while we're out in this direction, I'll go ahead and run you out to the next closest one. And this one is not the easiest one by far. In fact, the next one I'm going to show you is probably, in my opinion, the hardest one, which is Maiden's Eye. It's not that it's terribly difficult, it's just one of the camps is really hard to pull from. And there's not a lot of mobs that drop the shards. I mean, Akheva Caverns has only got 2 mobs that drop the shard, but you'll still get it faster than Maiden's Eye usually. So, running through this entrance into Maiden's Eye. If you haven't been to Maiden's Eye before, it's pretty dangerous. I mean, when I'm running across it nowadays, I just throw an invis up, and then sprint right across the center of the zone. How Mary from my guild said, YOLO. So, the mobs out here that drop the shards are the, I think they're called Gantrudes. I'm pretty sure I had, an Almar's guide a long time ago that said they were troglodytes, these guys. Garangas. So there's a bunch of them over here, but I'm pretty sure none of these ones actually drop the shard. The first shard camp you can come across is out this way, and I'm not going to run to it all the way because there's trap mobs, and most of them see invis or break your invis, but from here you can see right where I've got my mouse over it. Right around that rock cluster is, I think, 2 or 3 of the Gantrudes that can drop the shard. But I'm not really going to run out there because it's a giant pain in the ass and I'll probably get a train on me doing it. I've killed them before, and the way that I've killed them is by taking the druid out there who's got innate camo, so he can go invisible almost instantly. And I pretty much just train out those mobs, and I will trigger traps when I do that. But the easier way to do this camp is to just ignore those ones, you know, unless you're really bored, and instead go over to this hill by the Akheva Ruins. Sometimes people hunt in this zone. I don't personally think it's very good, but, you know, to each their own. I think there was a trio of wizards that was out here all the time pretty recently. So there's Akheva Ruins. I'll show you the 3 spots where you can pull shard mobs. These mobs outside of Akheva Ruins, much like the mobs inside of Akheva Ruins, randomly see or don't see invis. You'll find the same thing in the deep. So all of these mobs right here at the entrance, sometimes they see invis, sometimes they don't. Here we got some people hunting shards, and they're doing it just like I do it, except I usually sit up on top of the hill. It's probably better sitting down than the hill though. I never even thought about it. So first shard camp's right there. Run along a bit. Come up to the second set. These rocks right here. And the third set. Keep running along. And they're tucked back in these trees over here. I think there's another 3 of them that spawn over here. Yep. 1, 2, 3. And the respawn time is painstakingly slow. And the mobs aren't really that tough. I think they're level 55, maybe lower. The big trouble that you get into is when you start coming out over here. There's lots of sea and viz mobs running around in this field. There's also trap mobs. It's a super dangerous area in the zone. In fact, anything past this hill is pretty dangerous, and even being on the hill is dangerous. Hunting on the hill is dangerous. So that's that shard camp. I guess since I'm right here, I might as well run into Akheva Ruins and show you the next one too. Be careful with those shades. They do a couple things. First thing they do is harm touch. Second thing they do, dispel. Third thing they do is gate. So if you're fighting one from out in that, you know, dangerous section I just showed you outside, then it's pretty likely that if they don't run out of mana by the end of the fight, they will try getting away from you and then come back with a very, very big train. I believe they also summon. Okay. Akheva Ruins, the zone that can't have levitate in, so I just lost my eagles. Beginning part of the zone, nothing pretty much sees invisible, but like I said earlier, you know, it's random. That shade's probably gonna see invis. Looks like it doesn't. Yeah, so I think every mob in this zone can potentially see invis, and they're not too common. The real reason that you can't be running through this zone invisible is because you'll set off the traps. And I will make a different video later about getting through this zone to get your VT key, because the final turn-ins for the key, the Scepter of Shadows, is pretty far back in the zone. So right up in here, you don't have anything to worry about. Off to this right tunnel, you got the named worm. once you come past here is when you start first running into traps. And I'll actually probably get evac up so I can just blow out of here and not have to fight this stuff after I get through. So, when I get to the end of this tunnel, there's a trap. It will probably set off, and it will probably kill my invis, and I will probably get attacked by stuff. Here it comes. Trip over a crack in the floor. Oh nice, it didn't even shut my thing off. So whenever it says you trip over a crack in the floor, it means that you set off a trap. Out here, there are a few traps, and this way is the way you go to get your key, or to go, I don't know, fight Ivy or Shay in raids. Ivy is up. But what you pretty much want to do is, you're going to come around this corner. I might set off another trap. I'm not super sure where they are over here. There's a bunch of them by the Vaudin over here who's not up. Yeah, so pretty much what you want to do is you want to invis yourself over here. Usually you won't be as lucky as me, and you'll trigger that trap and you will be attacked by stuff. There's only one mob on this side and the other side. So after you get here, you can literally just kill, you know, one mob and hold it, and then you can start pulling the real mobs. To pull them, you will trigger traps. Some of them will be rock people that quote-unquote fall from the ceiling and have a lot of HP, but it's just something you got to deal with. I believe these shaded stones are the ones that actually drop the shards, so I'm not going to walk over there because I'm going to trigger traps and get a bunch of mobs on me. But essentially you want to park here, kill your one mob, you know, that makes this unsafe, quote-unquote, and then you'll start walking down the line and you will trigger trap after trap after trap, and as you trigger the traps you'll be able to pull the actual mobs that you want. Actually, just trigger a trap and then I'll evac out. Oh, God damn it. There's a trap. So, those rocks are what you want, and that's all there is to know about this one. Be careful not to pull the Vaudin, who's not up right now. There's just one room off to the side where I was headed to, and that's where you want to get your shards, although I'm pretty sure I've seen shards drop in other spots in the zone. It's not too uncommon, shouldn't take you very long to get. Pretty easy shard, way easier than hunting those Garangas outside. Alright, I guess I'll show you just a couple more and then I'll call it for the night and get some sleep. The next easiest one is going to be Scarlet Desert. Very, very easy. Sometimes it takes a while for the mobs to spawn. I mean, not spawn. Sometimes it takes a while for the mobs to drop the shards. But if you're in your 50s and you're grinding on the shard camps, which you should do in your 50s just to get through them, the Scarlet Desert one is actually a pretty good experience camp. I'd suggest after you finish Dawnshroud Peaks to go straight to Scarlet Desert to do that one next. So that was 3 zones in a row that have shards in them. 1, 2, 3. DSP, Maiden's Eye, and Akheva Ruins. On a different part of the moon, we've got Scarlet Desert, the Grey, and Temple of Ssraeshza all in a row. Get my levitate on real quick. Oh, you know what? Not just that. We're also connected to Fungus Grove, so maybe I'll hop down there real quick. this video up into segments. Fix it in post. Fungus Grove. Fungus Grove has got the highest level mobs you need to kill for any shards. And since I'm not actually hunting anything right now, I'm just running with my druid. So this 200 is the Fungus Grove. One of them's underground, and I don't like to use that one. It brings you out at the little city. And if you've been killing in little caverns, you might be KOS. But hop on this mage tower and click on this portal. It'll take you to the other side of the zone. Fungus Grove's not a very big zone. It's empty. I could actually go grind on those shard mobs. They're pretty good experience. I'll just make the video and go to bed. So, after you run in, side note, the final scout for the Beast Lord epic chills out right in here. I think right over here on the side. It's not up right now, so I assume that Ssraeshza is not up. Sometimes somebody will fail the Beast Lord epic and Ssraeshza will stay up for hours. So these are the Shiknar. They start out dubious or something like that. They're not KOS at first, but as you kill them for your shards, they hate you. Go down into this tunnel, and there's only one way you can go, sort of. You know, if you go right or you go left, you'll still get there. These warriors are level 60 like the shard mobs, but I don't believe these ones actually drop shards. You gotta go just a little bit lower. Nobody sees invis, so you can move around safe. Unless, of course, you don't have invis. Alright. There's a little herd masters. Ooh, Warlord's up. Maybe I should come down here. So, I might end this video and make a different video killing the Warlord, just because it's fun to kill the Warlord. So here's your shard mobs. All 5 of these guys sitting right across here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if you go back behind them, you got even more shard mobs. And the little guys don't drop them, but if you're running this for experience, it's good experience. These are all level 60 mobs. They have a lot of hit points. They don't really hit that hard. I guess the Warlord does a little bit, but you know, for a level 61 mob, he's kind of weak. And you got all these healers. These guys are all complete healers. It's a pain in the ass to fight them, or you know, they might be paladins, but anyway about it, I think they're complete healers. When you're killing these, if you can't split them with pacify, you want to kill these little guys first. And more to that point, if you're lower level and just here with the trio, you're not going to want to engage that Warlord if it's up. Maybe call for help, unless you have Wake of Tranquility with a cleric or an enchanter. Pretty much what you want to do, you can single pull this guy. I'll actually pull it just to show an example. I can evac out if I have any trouble. But pretty much none of these guys are close enough to each other to aggro, except for that Warlord. He kind of fucks stuff up. There's 2 Wanderers. You can see one sticking out of that tunnel there, and another that comes out of that tunnel there. So if you're down here and you don't have Pacify, how you have to do this is first pull this guy, because he's a healer and a dispeller and a pain in the ass. And then you want to go through, I mean, right here, without getting any ads, I can kill this one, and kill this one, and kill this one and get that guy in there. If I'm lucky, maybe this one will aggro that without the other two. If you are not a cleric or an enchanter, then you're gonna have to engage at least 2 of these, you know, at once. If this guy's not there, you can take these guys individually, but with the warlord up there, you have to engage multiple of them, which, you know, takes a while. It's kind of hard, especially if you get ads. But generally speaking, this is a pretty easy camp. The warlord drops like a decent spear. So that about does it for the shard camp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the other room. There's also I think a priestess or a princess that spawns in the other room, and I've killed her with a different group. I don't remember what she dropped, but she's pretty rare, very, very rare, I'd say. I've spent a good bit of time killing these Shiknar just for experience, even after I got my shards. I'm not evacing to the entrance of the zone because the evac will send me to the other side of the zone, which is not where I want to be. I'll make another video sometime and I'll show you about getting to Draznarak. The zone actually used to be a little bit harder to move through. Since there are these cactuses that saw invisible, but apparently that wasn't accurate. It was just a mistake on the developer's part, and they fixed it. So now that there's no see invis in this zone, I mean there are see invis, but not the cactuses that are all over the zone. Just I think the bandits or the undead things. It's gotten much easier to move around here. Alright, next up we've got Scarlet Desert. Where guys at? So, the port in was right over here, facing that island of undead. So when you port in, basically you look up this way, you see the little castle thing, and you hop across this pond to get to the Scarlet Desert. There's another shard off the other way. Actually, the only shard that drops in 2 zones is the Cataclysm and Sanctus Ssraeshza Shard. And you can get to Cataclysm through this zone. I don't know if you can get to Sanctus through this zone. I'm not actually good with the geography of Luclin. I'm new to the whole, expansion. I say with some VT gear. For as much as people like to rag on Luclin, or people prefer the classic game, I actually can't imagine playing the game without Luclin anymore. I think this content's great. B-Sword's my favorite class, and yeah, I just can't imagine, playing a game where we're hunting in Fungus Grove and running through the gray and completing these shard quests isn't a part of the gameplay, because it's actually pretty involved and very rewarding. So I am running out north from the zone in, and I see this big mesa over here. These little Teji guys, they don't aggro on you, so it's safe to run by them. The only ones you really gotta watch out for if you have invis on are these Sun Reavers, which is exactly what we are going to take a look at. So the Sun Reavers are undead and they're very, very fire resistant. You can see one right there, but there's actually 2 or 3 of them right there because there's some on the back side of this. If you come too close to the wall, you will aggro them through the wall. I think there is another one sitting out here somewhere in these rocks. Try and be careful not to aggro them just because I'm not looking to be killing nothing right now. There's one right there in the rocks. They're light blue to me at 60, so that means they're under level 50. I think 48 or 49 is the last light blue level for level 60. Some of these are dark blue. Pretty much what I do when I'm hunting these guys, all this area is safe. Pretty much when I'm coming after this shard, what I do is I park up over here and I'll start by pulling these guys on this this little platform, this fallen piece of wall right here. You can see there's 3 of them. And then what you can't see is over, you know, I'll just shoot an ISOM in there. Or just do an IVU. Yep, these guys are undead, so you can safely walk around them with IVU on. So, oh yeah, there's that one that was under that platform. There's one on the back side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in here. 6. We saw 1, 2, 3 on the back side and 3 right here. So these are all the mobs. The respawn time on them is probably 15 or 20 minutes. It seems to take forever when you're doing them if you can kill them all. Generally speaking, you'll clear them all and you'll sit on your thumbs for a while. If you want, you can kill these guys. Got some weird looking weapons. I've never actually messed around with them though because they are not aggro. Aside from these fire ones, there's I think an ice version of them over in the Umbral Plains, much higher level. The ice ones are KOS. Alright, so that is your Scarlet Desert Shard camp. I should probably just remake this video sometime and actually show me killing these things, but it's going to be a while before my alts are high enough to be doing that. I'll take you to one more smart before I call this. So from the entrance of the zone, if you're running to the gray, there is a big ravine that you just want to follow. And eventually, following the ravine, you get to these rocks in the middle of the ravine. There's the rock, there's a second rock, and at that second rock is kind of like your point to know to run to the wall. I guess technically you'd follow the wall, but there's a lot of mobs on it. So, from this second rock in the ravine, we go straight to the wall, you see the entrance to the gray. Now the gray is a zone that has no oxygen, so you need to have an enduring breath item to go hunt your shard here. So, the Gray. If you want to get to Ssraeshza Temple, all you gotta do is run straight out and slightly to the left from this entrance. I think Grieg's End has an entrance over on the far side, which is the evac point. There's a bunch of CNVIS mobs in the zone. Looks like these skeletons aren't, that's weird. But there are trap mobs all over the place, especially in the rock clusters. For the Beast Lord Epic, you actually have to kill the triggered mobs in the rock clusters. And an easy way to do that is just to be invis and run through the rock clusters. Hopefully you won't, aggro anything, you'll just trigger the traps and make them come to life. All these ones that are already pre-popped, I'm pretty sure do not drop the Beast Lord piece. There's multiple mobs that drop shards in this zone, but the good spot to get your shard, the spot where everybody gets their shard, is over at the lake. See Temple of Ssraeshza over there. Looks like this camp's actually not taken. I think it's a second shard camp I've come across that nobody's hunting in tonight. So here is our lake. All these guys have the same names as the ones we were just killing, or the ones that we just took a look at in the Scarlet Desert, or maybe they were Sun Reavers. These ones are Sun Revenants. And these guys, me and my brother Hectos were hunting about level 50, and they were very, very difficult for us to kill. I mean, we got by. They're all single pulls, so it's not too hard to have at them. I guess I'll kill one real quick and just show you. As just the one Beast Lord and Druid at that level, I definitely tried to come hunting these by myself, and I was able to kill them, but it took so much out of me to kill them that it wasn't even worth the time. So my suggestion would be come here with somebody that's already level 60, especially a tank, and you should have no problems. Shells, back slot as well, very, very convenient, especially for dual wielding classes. So for comparison, Akheva Caverns, Talon will be taking about as much damage as this guy off of about 5 or 6 mobs. Poison resistant, but elements hit him pretty well, especially if you get a debuff onto him. Oh wow, no, that's a 1500 point spell that did nothing. Oh, shit. At least it's 29 minutes. Did not mean to actually kill and get a shard, but I mean, I guess I'm making a video about shards, so isn't that convenient? Alright. Throwing a viz up, and I'm just gonna bolt across here and run a train to the temple. Just announce it in Alliance so that nobody comes running out and gets hit by this train. I'm sure I'll aggro a bunch of shit on the way. Some Ssraeshza trying to kill me. Alright. Fuck it, I'm already this far, I might as well show all of them. So, for this one, I am going to shrink, and I'm going to invis all the way down to the mines where our next shard is. All my guys are invis. As long as your invis doesn't drop, you should be good getting down here. So careful with these doors. These things are terrible. Gotta use hashtag rewind to get out. They'll pop you up into the ceiling. You get stuck there. Alright, so with my invis on, this one sees invis, the rest don't. Let's see. I'll do the comms later, which is another part of your VT key, your key. Basically, you've got your south comm here. Right in this area is going to be where your first commander spawns. Upstairs is where your second commander spawn. Similarly, down here is where your first commander spawns on the north side, and up here is where your second one spawns. Visas are still up, so I'm just going to run by these guys. Mobs here. Again, since there's like 8 mobs in here. One of the rags is actually in a secret wall behind here. Be careful. The mobs past that door are tough. Alright, so I ran through the long hallway with the 8 mobs, and then I come to our first tube. For this part, because I'm going to be swimming a lot, I'm going to run my guys down one at a time. Nothing should see invis here. Swim down this little sewer tube. From inside the tube, you're usually safe. You won't get aggroed by anything. Where we're going to go is to our right. Right there's a see invis mob. That one is actually a wimp. These taskmasters are part of the curse cycle, but they also drop pouches that you need for your imp key, which you need for your VT key. So after he wanders back, I will run through there. Not gonna waste an Akheva clicky to check for this guy. He is pretty difficult. There's another one that wanders right around the sides here, so just check your corners, sneak in, and we get to the one shard camp that I haven't really been able to do by myself. Oh, somebody's working it. First mob's down. Usually there's a guy right here. So anyways, your shard mobs are in this way, and not all of them drop the shard. But you basically want to come down here with somebody that can pacify. I'll use an IBU, and I'll take a quick walk through and just show you what you're looking at. My guys have auto follow. Alright, I got my IBU up, so now I can safely walk through here. And you'll see all these nasty skeletons. Most of these guys are Shadow Knights and Shaman. So as you work your way through here, you'll have very, very big pulls. And most of them will debuff you. They will cast dots on you. And they will harm touch you, which makes this very difficult without pacify. If I have my paladin as my third, then I can clear this place out for hours. It's a really good experience camp. The drops are terrible, and these name mobs drop items called strange green metals. The good thing about the strange green metal is you can use it as an imp weapon, a bane weapon against Ssraeshza, so that you can fight the Emperor. So basically, you just run through these caves, kill all these guys, and I think the Drudges and the Poct Sorzes, yep, these guys are the shard mobs. So you gotta get a little deep into here just to attack stuff. So as you can see, it goes back this way. There's tons of them, and there's one more path. I think this is the exit. Like there's a door at that tunnel, and that's the exit of the back exit of the zone, the deep. If you come up this way, I think you hit the end of it. Let's see. Oh, maybe this is the back entrance of the deep in there. And that's all there is to it. That's all the mobs in here. As you can see, there's a group there. I'm sure they're fucking killing it. Looks like they got 2 necros. Which means they can pacify this shit. They can charm this shit. Alright, back to my group. I'm gonna port the hell out of here. Seems like a pretty good point to call it for the night. The only dungeons I didn't get to are Akheva Caverns. It's a very easy one. The Deep, which is a complicated one, and Kata or Seru. Have a good night.